two, one. Here we go. We are back once again with the Esrskin Music Show. This is the road edition. You asked me where I'm at. I don't even know where I'm at. I believe this is the Rock Church in St. Louis. Yes. Anyone here? The Rock Church, St. Louis. Wonderful, beautiful facility here. I'm up in the sound booth here, and I'm looking down over a nice sized congregation, nice sized church, willing to just open their doors to anybody. That's amazing that there's still people in this world who will take in the tired, the poor, and the weary, and guys who just come up to them and say, "Hey, I'm a live streamer. Can I use your internet?" No, we made a couple of calls, and some friends who recommended that we be at the church. We are on a road show. I don't know where the co-host of the weekend edition, Way Forward, is at, but he's somewhere here in the building. I think he's reading his Bible, doing spiritual stuff. You know how pastors and stuff are. But he is here in the building somewhere, and we are about to go to another interview in inner city St. Louis, where we're going to be interviewing some pastors for our weekend edition. And so you won't want to miss that, because you'll get some live responses from pastors who are dealing with this all the time, influencers, key leaders in communities. We wanted to just not have a discussion with it just being Jason and I, but we wanted to mix it up just a little bit and say, hey, there's some other folks out here that we need to hear their voices. We need to hear their story. But let me slow down for just a second. Welcome, Roy. Welcome the rest of our viewers. Hello and good morning to the Facebook audience. You guys are the longest and strongest running support group that we have. We're so thankful to have you, as well as our YouTube audience that's watching sometimes live, and then sometimes you guys watch a little bit later and you comment. So anyway, the international audience is watching. We appreciate you guys in London, Beijing, China, Nepal, Peru, India, Brazil, Africa, and Africa, and Africa. We love you, Africa. And then our Twitch audience that's been a little bit quiet over the last week, since you guys stopped implanting viruses on my show. You guys been getting a little bit quiet. So Twitch audience, so glad that you guys are joining us as well on that platform. And we're just looking to run about 45 minutes today. We got to get out of here so that we can get to another interview, so that we can set this up and we can do it again. So doing 2 and 1, but you'll get a chance to see the benefit of that on the weekend edition. And so we are out and about. We're going to be headed up this week to Wisconsin, where I'm going to be playing some shows as well as interviewing people. And so there'll be a lot of good footage for you guys to look into. So let's get started here. We got the cameras on. Everybody's rolling. Comment section is turned on. The snarkier, the better. But we got some big things to get into today. I put little Esrskin down in the corner of the screen there for you guys to see. Cartoon Esrskin. So he is there today looking over the show, making sure everything's okay. Big Head is not in the background today. Big Head is in the car, and Ruby and Scooby are in the car, and that car is in Litchfield, Illinois. And so we're separated. We're house divided. We're family divided. Big Head's not here. Ruby and Scooby are not here. The co-host is not here. I'm sitting in a sound booth in someplace. I don't even know where I'm at, but that's okay. It's like, where's Waldo? Where am I going to appear and pop up next? That's what we got to figure out there. So I want to say good morning to everybody out there. For those of you who are watching, we got a big show today. I'm going about being a Christian influencer in this world, in a world that desperately needs to hear from different voices. And I'm not sure I'm quite doing this right. Help me out if you could. I've got an iPhone 6. Seems to be doing a good job. I mean, I look like I'm in the camera. That's about all we need. Get in the camera, get your face in the place, and deliver. And then I'm using a what do we have here? A Mac 2011 edition. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And you guys full well know when it's not working, because the show goes, oh, yeah, we got sound effects here. Why would we? Yeah, this is what we say.
You've got to be kidding.
You've got to be kidding. Sometimes when my computer doesn't work, I'm like, really? Really? Are we doing this again? And then hardly ever. But today, the situation is better. But hardly ever do we have working, functional internet. Those little places and hotels that I stay at that say we have high-speed internet, they don't have high-speed internet. However, the one that I broadcast from on Saturday in Gatlinburg, it said high-speed internet, and the show did not lag at all. And so much love, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, taking care of the live streamers that are out there. All right. Good morning to everyone that's watching today. I'd like to hear from you guys at some point. But there's going to be some people who are watching today who are not going to make any comments. I know there are people who watch, they listen every single day, but they don't say anything. They're just quiet as a church mouse. And if you got that expression, you will probably resonate with the story that I'm going to get into. Today's devotion, since my co-host is not here, he's reading his Bible and doing his own devotion. But don't want to help me with my devotion. I see how you are down there. Hebrews 9:27 is appointed to a man once to die and then the judgment. Let's think about and seriously consider the fact that there is a worldview that says that we are progressively getting better and better. There's all manner of technology and science that they sometimes seem to be pit against the Bible and seem to pit against spirituality when it is not in conflict. But there's a worldview that says we're going to progressively get better and better. We can progressively expunge ourselves from our Christian heritage and our Christian past. And that type of philosophy is out there. Those kind of things are out there. But the thing that we've not been able to account for is the fact that we are here. I know there's Cartesian anxiety where people, I'm not really sure I'm a real person, or maybe I'm a disembodied spirit moving through this world. For those that are not kind of on LSD and thinking of their lives in that manner, you know that you're here. You know that you exist. You know that from design, there's some evidence of the fact that there is a God, there is a creator. You're aware of the fact that we are moving from one point to another. You're getting older. And then staring you in the face at some point, some way, somehow, you will die. And in the midst of that, you're going to stand before God. And then what will happen? There are those who teach annihilation. I say to that, hell no. The Bible teaches a very clear doctrine and understanding of the fact that we will stand and give an account to the Lord. And so I wanted to remind us of that today, is that we should not take any lack of opportunities in our lives to influence others, to be a part of what things are going on. I know in the last year, there's been a lot of people who have been fearful about the coronavirus, and as well we should be. There's over 500,000 people who have died. But at the same time, if the coronavirus doesn't get you, something else will. You are going to die and stand before the Lord. And so I see a lot of people making preparations to go on vacations. They make preparations to travel. They make preparations to do schooling. They make preparations for a home. They make preparations for a lot of different things in this world. Make sure that we take time today to make preparation for our soul and to give an account that, yes, we trust Jesus when we stand before God, when we breathe our last breath. All right, so that's our devotion for today. Let's get to a story from the realms of church, evangelical, and religion. If you were watching this morning, you are probably familiar with author by the name of John Piper, extremely influential author in my own life. One of his principal books is Desiring God, a book that I read in seminary, a book that I have thoroughly enjoyed, passed out and given copies to several different people, all about enjoying God, being satisfied, God being glorified in the midst of that. And he's a well-respected author who's ministered to literally probably millions over his life. And I'll tell some personal stories of how John Piper has impacted my ministry, life, and family. But recently in the news, of his 4 kids, one of them has come out and said, I don't believe any of this garbage, this Christianity garbage, this church, this evangelical nonsense that's going on here. Hooey, 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 hooey. I don't like any of this stuff. Taking my toys and I'm going to TikTok. And on TikTok, the New York Times was eager to pick up this article and to begin to disseminate it. I'm reading from the New York Times. This is the April 12th edition, 2012. The writer is Ruth Graham. Abraham Piper, John Piper's son, became a sensation on TikTok nearly overnight. He posted his first video in November, and he has now more than 900,000 followers, many of them young people who thank him for capturing their experiences so precisely. His unlikely path to online stardom, irreverent critiques of evangelical Christianity aimed at others who have left the faith. So there's a herd mentality that's beginning to develop here of people who were once a part of the church, were once a part of this thing we call Christianity, were once a part of this movement that we call evangelicalism, and they were like, yeah, actually, no. That just got a little bit weird for me. And so they're finding a support group in Abraham Piper. They're finding a friend of theirs in Abraham Piper. Ruth Graham goes on in this article to write, if you just want to roll your eyes at how weird it all was, this is Piper, Abraham. That's what I'm here for. Abraham Piper said, using vulgarity in a clip that has been viewed over 800,000 times since he posted it in the video sharing site in February. His post, more than 300 videos to date, tackle the idea of a literal hell. We just talked about that, didn't we? See, weave the show together. Of a literal hell. How are you going to take your family to Outback after church while millions of people are burning alive? The concept, the evangelical conception of God, an unequivocal thumbs down, says Abraham Piper. 2 big thumbs down to you Christians telling everybody burn in hell, millions of people. You're going to Outback. Well, what if you went to Applebee's? You're going to Applebee's too. You're going to Steak and Shake. No, actually, sorry, Steak and Shake. Nobody's going to Steak and Shake after church. Let's continue on. And the absurdity of youth group mission trips. Mission trips. He says they are a white savior's evangelical vacation that other people pay for. Now, some of you guys that are out there, you get a little quiet today, but some of you guys that are out there today, if you can't say amen, you need to say ouch. He calls it a white savior's evangelical vacation that other people pay for. Can I make a couple of comments today? If you're out there and you want to make some comments on this before I go in, feel free to say, Erskine, I'm watching the show and I can tell you're about to go in. And sometimes when you go in, you have to use your censorship button. So I just want to let you know the censorship button is close to hand. I'm going to be kind today. Kind-ish. Ish is the operative term. I'm going to be a little kind-ish, but not to start with. All right. So I don't know, full disclosure, I don't know Abraham Piper personally. I think personally we would probably get along with one another because there'd be probably a lot that I would agree with. Once again, as I've highlighted several people who have come to notoriety by bashing Christianity, a lot of what they have to say, or at least some of what they have to say, I've observed before. Okay, I get that. You know, mission trips can be a joke. They can be not missionaries, but vacationaries. I get that. I've seen that. I've seen, in fact, as a music artist that travels all over the place and is usually backstage, green rooms, in the ins and outs of church culture and life, I've seen a lot more foolish stuff than most people. I would just venture to say that. I'm going to put that out there. Having been, 31 years now as a Christian, I've seen a lot of things that make you go, And so I can commiserate with a lot of people who have grown up in the evangelical movement and they've seen different things and they say, man, that doesn't seem to be consistent with the values and the teaching and the biblical principles that are being laid out there. I got that. But here's what we got to also say. Oh, man, Abraham, biblical name. That's a good name. Father of many nations. You knucklehead. Wait a minute. Are there any comments here before I go in on this? Any comments? Anybody want to say anything? Anybody got any comments to make? Okay, you're quiet. So I'm going to talk now. All right. Abraham Piper, are you watching this right now? Abraham Piper, you get on this show right now. You get on this show right now. Call in, text, get in contact with me. Some of the people that watch it, TikTok, whatever you need to do, get on this show right now. You are invited to a show. You are a friend of the show. Because I got some questions to ask you. You knucklehead. Pastors, more than anybody, and you should know this, homeboy, make sacrifices that other people don't make. For instance, often eating at a restaurant with their family, whether it be, well, no, we know it won't be Steak and Shake, eating at a restaurant with their family, and then a call comes in, so-and-so is in the hospital, so-and-so just died, so-and-so. You know how many times your dad has had to get up from the table, from his meals with the family, and go respond to needs that were going on in the church. Shame on you, young man. You've had that time robbed from you because your pastor, your dad, has been responding to other people and helping them in their spiritual lives so they don't go to hell. And the first thing you want to do is use Outback in a blasphemous way. You know you like their blooming onions. You know they're awesome. You know that was probably a very cherished opportunity. You got to sit with your family and actually eat those blooming onions. And now you want to try to revile against that? Young man, settle now. All right. Well, if Outback is the problem, then we're supposed to eat what? What are pastors supposed to do? All right, for this not to be a hypocritical situation that we find ourselves in. Are pastors supposed to sit around, preach their sermon on Sunday, get a box of crackers, sit in the corner with their family, and then eat those crackers? Would you be satisfied with that, since there are millions of people who are hungry, millions of people who are dying, and millions of people who go to hell? So if you had been raised like that, come on, real talk now. Abraham Piper, if you had been raised like that, where your dad preached a sermon and he said, you know what, everybody, we're going to sit in this room all day long. We're going to wait until evening church. We're going to eat a box of crackers because we don't want to hoard things and we don't want to be, gluttonous. Would you be arguing against that? Absolutely. You spoiled brat. You come across, and I don't know you. That's why I want you to come on the show and prove to me that you're not. You come across as the biggest spoiled brat, because you were the one eating it out back as well, and you enjoyed it, and you enjoyed the time with your family, and now you want to come back and try to bash your family as a result of that. Shame on you, young man. Millions of people burning in hell. Millions of people burning in hell. Wait. Hang on a second. Hang on. That's exactly what your dad was preaching, so that millions of people don't go to hell. And you know what? There's going to be millions of people who don't go to hell because God has used your dad preaching the clear gospel in a land where people don't even understand what the gospel is to impact their lives so that they don't go to hell. And now you want to try to complain against that. Hold on. I got a button for this.
You've got to be kidding.
You have got to be kidding me. Are you serious? Are you serious? Get on this show, Abraham. I need to talk to you. We can't do anything about the fact that there's millions of people who are already burning in hell. But what we can do is we can tell people about Jesus. And the last time I checked, your father did a fantastic job of that. In fact, let me tell a personal story. People are not going to hell because of your father and the gospel that he preached. Hell no, is what I have to say. 1997, 1998, the Passion Movement began. I graduated from college in 2000, East Tennessee State. Go Bucks! After that summer, I graduated and began working a construction job where one of the last graduation gifts that one of the guys that I was in band with gave me was this little metal tin that said Passion. And within this tin, it had a couple of CDs in it. And I was like, I've never even heard of Passion before. I mean, I was kind of up on things, but it was just beginning to take place. The Passion Movement was just beginning to spring forth. Chris Tomlin, this Louis Giglio, Bodie Backham, and then this very austere man named John Piper gets up to speak, or at least I'm listening to him. And I remember driving around after I'd graduated from college listening to John Piper. The first 10 minutes, I thought, this is the dumbest, weakest, dry presentation of gospel that I had ever heard. And then I kept listening. And then something unique happened. You see this passion that I have now to tell people about Jesus, this passion that I have for Jesus. God began to use John Piper in a particular way through that passion movement, through his messages, to remind me of the fact that there is a glorious God, an overarching sovereign king of the universe, who with transcendent beauty has created this world for his glory and has with intimate detail created my heart to worship that God. And in the presentation of the gospel in a way, and for college kids in a way that was actually serious, that seeming like somebody actually cared about their eternity and cared about whether or not we would enjoy our lives and press into enjoyment in life, that made an incredible, unestimable difference in my life. Let's go on. Anybody got any comments to make? Anybody want to say anything? Okay. You guys make some comments. I'll look at the comment section from time to time. We can interact that way if you want to, but I got to keep going. I got to keep it moving. Keep it moving. We can only go for 45 minutes today, and we still got a lot of stuff to get to. This is also reading from the article from Ruth Graham. For others, Mr. Piper, as he's described here, Abraham, we'll just say Abraham. Abraham's pedigree is proof that ex-Christians should not be dismissed as people who were never really committed to the faith in the first place. One of the common refrains is that people were never Christians, said Blake Chastain, who popularized the term ex-evangelical. Oh, yeah. That's not too clever. When he named his podcast in 2016, but people who leave over these issues are the people who took it seriously. They were the youth group kids who were on fire for God. No, I'm not that guy who's saying that, people can't come to a conclusion that these things were not really who they were, but it may be that this is not really who they were. I don't think you answered the question there. This is a tone deaf statement here. In the New York Times, you ran this: sloppy editing, sloppy reporting, and your source work there. I don't know who Blake Chastain is, but if you want to come on this show and talk about your experiences, I bet I can probably match your experiences with the silly stuff that I said. Why is it that you choose to use that as a stepping stone for you to get to a place where you can now bash Christianity? See, we need to just go ahead and talk about this. I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. There are some people who make millions of dollars a year creating racial tension and racial strife in this country. They're race baiters, and they use the racial tension in our country as a means of profit. There are people who grew up in churches who had a lot of influence and had a lot of people invest in them, who are now using that influence to make millions of dollars and get millions of views from people now bashing the church. Come on, man. Wait a minute. I got a button for that.
You've got to be kidding.
You've got to be kidding. All right. No comments. I'm going to keep going. Abraham, back to the article, says, do you know how soul-sucking it is to base your whole life on making sure other people change to become more like you? He asked his followers in February. It's not that nothing matters, he added, but that you get to pick what you decide matters. Lighten up. Get laid. Go bowling. Okay. All right. Your dad, enjoyment of God, feeding your soul forever. You get laid and go bowling. That doesn't answer the question, though. Hebrews 9:27 is appointed to man once to die and then the judgment. Well, fine, lighten up. Get laid. Go bowling. Or play frisbee golf. That's a better game. It's the springtime. We're getting into summer. Frisbee golf, bowling, indoor, outdoor. Anyway, do all that stuff. You're still going to die and you're going to stand before God. You're not sidestepping that question just because you went to go bowl or we went to go play frisbee golf or the game that we formerly used to call cornhole that is now called bags. So you don't get around that. You're still going to stand before the Lord and you're going to give an account. And for you to say, well, we went to Outback, and so that's the reason, God, why I didn't want to believe in you. Weak sauce, man. That is weak sauce. Seriously, I wanted to go bowling. I wanted to sleep around and be promiscuous. So that's why I didn't trust you, God, because I had a better plan for my life than you. Okay, I got it. So here's the deal. I have 22 followers on TikTok. I checked it this morning. I might have 23 now, but I have 22 followers. You have 900,000 people who are following you on TikTok. Abraham, I hope you're watching this. I hope you're watching this show today. You have 900,000 people who are following you on TikTok, and they're following you off the edge of a cliff. I'm not complaining. I have posted 20 videos, and the 20 videos that I looked at this morning are exquisite. My assistant who helps me with the TikTok, fantastic job. Can we give Aaliyah an applause this morning for helping out with the TikTok? Those 20 videos that are up there, exquisite. I have 22 followers on TikTok. So if any of you guys want to start following me on TikTok, that's fine. We'll the content that we're posting, I think, is phenomenal. It's incredible. But just be mindful of the fact that you have almost 1 million followers, that you are leading somewhere, who will all stand before the Lord and give an account. You, sir, are under a great deal of pressure. All right. This is a show that has music in it, I guess. This is the song Be Brave. I want you guys to be brave enough to follow the Lord and serve the Lord with a passion. This is a song.
Surrounded by people watching me, they're watching me, watching my every single move. Something special is rising up, yeah, it's rising up, coming from deep inside of me. Like a flame, it's the passion of my life. You can see it when you look into my eyes. I'll never be the same, yeah. Love makes me sing along. We'll never be the same, yeah. Love makes me who I am today. Love makes me who I am today. Makes me wanna be brave. Love makes me who I am today. Love makes me who I am today. Makes me wanna be brave. Wanna be brave. Come on. Throw your hands up, raise your voice up. Feel the power of the spirit move. Throw your hands up, raise your voice up. Feel the power. You'll never be the same, yeah. Love makes me who I am today. Makes me wanna be brave. Come on. Love makes me who I am today. Love makes me who I am today. Makes me wanna be brave. Wanna be brave. Love makes me who I am today. Love makes me who I am today. Makes me wanna be brave. Wanna be brave.
That was a long one. That boy bad, man. That boy bad. So now don't you guys be tuning off of here when the music comes on, man. That's you're supposed to be getting up and dancing at that point. So we gotta move on. We gotta zoom ahead. In the show, we gotta get to Daunte Wright. Daunte Wright. Daunte Wright. I was gonna deal with Justin Bieber's album here, the new one that he released on Easter, and I was thinking about doing that. And I had a call from a pastor yesterday, and we started talking about pastorally. We started talking about churchly things, churchly things, and we did not even get to the whole Daunte Wright situation until last night. 2 days later, 2 or 3 days later, I finally find out what's going on in this country. Now, I don't know if I'm the right guy to do it. I definitely can't do a daily show because I cannot keep up with that. I'm all over the place. But I was at 2 conferences last week, Thursday and Friday, finished one up in Louisville, and then was at a conference this weekend in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, where I did the Way Forward show from. And in the midst of all that, I kind of go into a black hole when I go on tour. Like there's so many tour logistics that I've got to get figured out that I don't know what's going on in the outside world, which is bad. Like, so I literally could be driving down the street in St. Louis, and if there's something that's going on, violence is erupting, I don't know. I'm just going to drive in the midst. So I don't know. They have a Mardi Gras up here. I don't know. So unless people tell me what's going on, I typically, I get back from these like Tuesday, I'm traveling, and then all of a sudden I start hearing some things. People start asking me some questions like, what do you think about? I'm like, what is that? And so I had to do a lot of deep diving and show prep for today so I could catch up with what's going on here. And I'll just read from what Wikipedia said here, because I think most of you guys, if you're way ahead of me, have already been familiar with this. And so on April 11th, 2020, Daunte Demetrius Wright, a 20-year-old African-American man, was fatally shot by police officer Kim Potter during a traffic stop in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. After being shot, Wright drove several blocks before crashing his vehicle into another and hitting a cement barrier. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The following day, police said that Potter, the police officer, meant to use her taser but accidentally grabbed her gun instead. We'll talk a little bit about that. Maybe we won't. Striking Wright with one shot to his chest. 2 days after the shooting, Potter and Brooklyn City Police Chief Tim Gannon resigned from their positions. The shooting sparked protests in Brooklyn Center and renewed ongoing demonstrations against police brutality in Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul metropolitan area, leading to a citywide and regional curfews. Demonstrations have also spread to cities across the United States. And so, like I said before, I almost, well, I don't know that I would have missed this because this is escalated to a certain degree where I would have eventually heard about it, but I'm sorry that I did not make a comment or statement a little bit earlier. Certainly want to extend my condolences to the family of Dante Demetrius Wright, Mrs. Wright, and family. I would have made that comment. Oh, Mayoshi, you're not jumping in late. I was just talking about Abraham Piper before, and you want to go back and listen to that. But no problem, no worries here. I'm dealing with Dante Wright, and essentially just telling people that I've missed this story. I have not been paying attention to this, and I would say it's because I'm a rock star. But if you saw the way that I travel and the means by which we get things done, rock star might be a bit of an overreach. Yeah, not. And so I'll continue to read from this article that gives the details of the account. Around 2 p.m. local time on April 11th, Brooklyn Center police pulled over Dante Wright, 63rd Avenue, with a traffic violation. The vehicle's registration tag had expired. Okay, that's what it was. Officers ran Wright's name through the police database and determined that he had an outstanding warrant, and they tried to arrest him. A police body cam showed 3 officers approaching a white Buick LaCrosse. An officer on the driver's side opened the door, and Wright stepped out of the car. Wright had his hands behind his back as the officer attempted to put in handcuffs. An officer later identified as Potter approached Wright on the other officer. A struggle ensued, and Wright re-entered his vehicle, in which, if you've not seen the video, then you see all of this taking place. This is just me reading what you could easily see with your own eyes. Struggle ensued, and Wright re-entered his vehicle, and Potter, who's the police officer, female police officer, "I'll tase you," and then yelled, "Taser, taser, taser." Potter discharged her lethal firearm instead of the taser and then said, "Oh shit, I just shot him." Potter was holding the firearm for at least 7 seconds before discharging it. At the time of the shooting, Potter was field training another officer. And I use that just because if you see the video, you're gonna hear that anyway. I'm not trying to sensationalize it. I'm just trying to give you a context for those of you perhaps who have not seen it. I would say go back and watch it. Wright drove away in his vehicle, making it a few blocks away before colliding with another vehicle. Officers administered CPR, but Wright was subsequently declared dead at the scene. A female passenger in the vehicle, Wright's girlfriend, was hospitalized with non-threatening injuries, and no one in the other vehicle was injured. All right, that's where we're at. That's what I had to catch up on last night, and I watched about the 42-minute interview with the mayor and the police chief, and that was an absolute disaster of an interview. I understand there's a lot of circumstances that are involved in this situation, and there's a lot of emotion that is involved in this situation, and I think for the better part of discretion and wisdom, I'm not going to make a ton of comments, except to simply maybe personalize it my own self and say that, you know, I've had some moments this morning, even where I cried for the family, and, you know, the situation that our country is in, that we're facing. Okay, I'll just do my show. All right, so, you know, everybody's got an opinion at this point. I'm coming to the party a couple of days late, and so the opinions are now out there with greater intensity. And, you know, somebody should have done this, somebody should have done this, somebody shouldn't have done this, and this is procedure and this is not procedure. You know, we're eventually going to get into that, but I don't know that we in America are very good at something here, and it's called lament. I think that as Americans, we're good at a lot of things, and we've been blessed in our nation to have the favor of God in a lot of different areas because of our Judeo-Christian heritage. However, one of the things that we are absolutely disgustingly poor at is being able to lament. And unfortunately, I'm on Abraham Piper and asking him to get on the show so I can talk to him about how spoiled he is. There's another sort of egregious thing that I think, especially among evangelicals and Christians in this country, we're not very good at lamenting when there are things that happen. We're not very good at causing our leaders and our nation to pause so that we can take account of a life that has been lost, grieving the family situations of everybody involved. And so the police chief has resigned. He's been on the force for almost 30 years. Don't you think his family is involved in this in a way that is just heartbreaking? Officer Potter, who's now resigned, her life, her life will never be the same. So that whatever dream she had, she's been on the police force, I believe the report said, since 96, her life is not going to be the same ever. Obviously, a young man lost his life, and hearing the reports and seeing the videos from the family, that life is not ever going to be the same. What are we doing here? Sorry. Okay. Are we back? All right. I don't know what's going on with that camera. I'm trying to do a show here. All right. No. Fine. I don't need that camera. I'll look at this camera. So we have a lot going on there. And so I wanted to just simply say this, and maybe make it a little bit more personal today than what I normally do, and a lot less jokey than what I normally do, and just simply say this. I go on trips all the time, and there's not a trip that I go on where I'm not concerned about this issue, and I'm not making a statement about the police. I'm making a statement about me personally. And people will ask me, why do you have a hat in your car? Because I think it's less likely that people are going to mess with two black guys that are in a car than they would one black guy. And you guys know some of the highways and byways that I travel down. I don't want to issue with anybody. I don't want to issue with anybody. I don't want to issue with the police. The other day I was preparing to leave for one of the trips, and you can see how pearly white my teeth are. I've been brushing my teeth and then brushing my teeth with baking soda. Maybe that helps. Maybe it doesn't. But I had some of the baking soda in a bag, and I had it in my overnight bag. And I was asking my wife, I was like, do you think if I get stopped, they'll think this is cocaine and maybe make it maybe difficult for me? And my wife was just saying, you know what? We know it's not cocaine. Just if the officers stop you, don't resist. Don't. So I don't know if you guys have those conversations a lot with your husband or in your family, but those are conversations that we have in our family. So I'm very sad about this situation. I'm nervous to some extent. If you're ever traveling with me, you recognize that I'm probably one of the slowest drivers in the history of the world. I got that from my days in student ministry, where I realized I am driving around other people's children. There's no greater thing that I have in my possession than the lives of these kids. And so I started taking account of that and driving slow. And then also I drive reasonably slow because I just don't want to get stopped. I just don't want any interaction with the police. And you know, there's some of you guys that are out there who are saying, well, if you just obey the police, if you just do what is required of you, there'll be no issues. The police will do their job. You'll go free and nothing will happen to you. And right about that time, I found this other story of the Lieutenant Lazario, who is in Virginia. And if you've not seen the footage of that, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe Esrskin, you shouldn't be sad. Esrskin, you shouldn't be nervous. Esrskin, you shouldn't be concerned about this, because I mean, you're one of the good black people. You're one of the good guys that, you know, you obey the law. You're calm in a situation. You respect authority. You're teaching your kids to respect authority. And so there's nothing for you to fear, right? There's no issue. So there's that. And I'll read a little bit from that story. Karen Nazario, a lieutenant in the U.S. Army Medical Corps, was driving to Petersburg, Virginia from a drill weekend on December 5th when he saw police lights flashing behind him. Too nervous to stop on a darkened road, Lieutenant Lazario, who is a black Latino, drove about a mile to a gas station, pulled over, placed his cell phone on the dashboard, and according to the lawsuit and video footage of the encounter, immediately 2 Windsor police officers with guns drawn were heard yelling orders at him. "Get out of the car," one yells. Lazario, remaining seating and repeatedly asking why he had to be stopped and why the officers had drawn their gun. He positions his empty hands outside of the window. "I'm honestly afraid to get out of the car," Lieutenant Lazario said. "Yes," says one of the officers, Joe Gutierrez, according to the footage of the body cam, "you should be." All right. I don't know. I don't know. I know there's a lot of people who are on here. I know, I know what it means to obey authority. I've been in authority in various situations. I know what it means to Proverbs 15:1, a soft answer turns away, a gentle answer turns away wrath. I know. And so that doesn't always mean that things will go well. And I think that for people who are coming to the realization of that, that's not okay. I'm not here advocating or saying to anybody, you need to defund this, or you need to change this, or you just need to, first of all, be aware, and let's just kind of sit maybe in the cultural moment. We need to do, Job, I just got finished reading the book of Job. Job had 3 very unhelpful friends and one really foolish young man that wanted to make comments on a lot of different things before they had a full understanding of what was going on there. Maybe as Christians, it's good for us to have a time where we just kind of wait before we make comments, before we jump on the internet, before we start writing articles. What if we said nothing? What if I had gone an entire week and just said nothing? And said, I'm praying for, I'm saddened by, but I'm also encouraged in the hope of the gospel. What was that? What if that's what we did and came alongside people who are grieving? But no, that's not what we do in our country. That's not the way we do it. Well, here's the deal. Thank you, John. It's good to hear your voice or see your name on here. And yes, quick to listen, slow to speak. So I could be putting these comments up there, but thank you guys for all of your comments. Because of the nature of what it is that we're doing on this road trip, I've got another interview that's starting here in 15 minutes with an inner city pastor in St. Louis. And so while this is not the last thing that I wanted to say about this issue, this is the last song that I want to play today, and then we'll be out after the outro here. And so if you guys want to continue to make comments, I'll flash those up on the screen and try to be good with interacting with you guys as best as possible through that. But I'm going to play the song Black and White, which is a song that I think that our country, our nation, our world needs to hear afresh again in this time, especially. And the church, I believe, is the answer to what's going on. And that, we keep Jesus the center of things, Jesus the focus of things. Your comment section is turned on, Black and White, and then we'll be out. And then look for tomorrow's edition that I'll be doing with the co-host. I'll get him to pop on tomorrow. The co-host of the Way Forward show, Jason Plummer. And then we will set up some things for the weekend edition. So this is going to be a really good week on the Esrskin Music Show, but I had to really deal with some things, and they just came to me, and I'm just catching up with some things. And I would like to, move on to some of the things, talk about Justin Bieber and some of the things that are going on. But I need a pause. I need to take some time to just really kind of sit with folks and be present in the moment, the cultural moment that we find ourselves in. That's one of the reasons why we do the Esrskin Music Show. And I pray that this song will bring healing to you and that it'll bring some life and encouragement to you. All right. God bless. We'll talk soon.
Segregated time in our country. It's Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. Black churches, white churches right next door. They're on the same block, both with hands raised high to Jesus. Still a million miles between us. Black people, white people, remember the God who made you and me equal. And not some people, but all people, remember the God who the unseen walls where bridges need to be built. A song may not change your mind, but Jesus won't let me keep it inside. Black people, white people, remember that God made you and me equal, and not some people, but all people. Remember that God who made you and me equal. Baby, it all begins by not focusing on ourselves, fixing our eyes on Him, living our lives as friends. Black people, white people, remember the God who made you and me equal, and not some people,